Anytime I hear the word debt bubble, I get concerned. I think any of us who are active in the markets through the 2006 through 2009 period would certainly have a little bit of the hair go up on the back of their neck when they hear that sort of phrase. There have been some stories, and I refer specifically to some in the New York Times and on Bloomberg, about mounting pressures in China regarding debt maturities coming due over the next 2 years, and that we have started to see some default activity in China. Default on debt happens all the time. We've sort of forgotten about it in the U.S., particularly as we see money flooding into junk bonds right now and tightening the spread on let's say double B credit relative to triple B credit. So that's probably something that we're a little bit inured to in the U.S. But default activity has been picking up in China, and it is a bit unusual in the fact that there have been some enterprises that people thought might be prone to getting bailed out, not getting bailed out. I don't have enough clarity into the situation there to say that this is endemic to, or something that we really need to be keeping an eye on. But it is a bit of a change, and anytime there's a change in the market mentality, no matter how far away in the world it is, it bears watching. And so the thing that I would be keeping my focus on over the next few months would be, are these defaults continuing to mount? Do they go from being a somewhat insignificant portion of the total indebtedness in China, which, by the way, is quite staggering overall, but are these defaults a relatively small piece of the debt maturity puzzle, or are they increasing in size? And if so, what is the Chinese government doing about it? The reason to worry about a debt bubble is that they're deflationary. Money basically is wiped out, and the problem you have there is money that's if you need to cover a bad debt, you generally have to sell something that's a good debt. Perhaps the most instructive case of this actually was how Madoff imploded. The timing was such that there were all sorts of things in the market going down. People were getting margin calls. Things were very hectic around the 2007 period, and so people started redeeming their holdings in Madoff, basically selling the items that were working to cover up the losses that they were getting in the stuff that wasn't working. And of course, that being a Ponzi scheme, the whole thing imploded because there was no way to keep up with the redemptions. But the psychology of that is very important. If you're in a situation where certain asset classes that you own are underperforming dramatically or getting very risky when you didn't think they were, that has a spillover effect. And China, although it is somewhat walled off from a lot of the world economy, it is a huge economy, and what goes on there may or may not leak beyond its borders. It's the kind of thing to keep an eye on. It's not necessarily a reason to go selling all your holdings in any given asset class right now, but if I were you, I'd be keeping an eye when you see these articles, reading through them and seeing how that may affect your investment horizon.